Hello everybody, this is SASteve, and today I'll be showing you this interesting little build I came up with while talking about weapon buffs and a few other things. It's really hard to fully describe it, but it bases itself around Sacred Oath, Sunlight Blade and the Great Magic Barrier, which you won't see in this video unfortunately because I had no more attunement slots available, but I usually use it now. I also use a Lightning Espada Opera to maximize the lightning damage that I'm going to inflict. A very common question about Dark Souls 2 is one that I found myself asking too. What is the best weapon buff? When this dilemma was asked on forums, everyone said it's the one that you had the biggest damage bonus on, which I thought it was bullshit. It was not the answer that kind of pissed me off, as it was the fact that my fire and lightning bonuses were almost equal, as I had 40 points in faith. The flame weapon had no stat requirement, it had 4 uses with a single attunement slot, which I thought it was a bit unfair. I started to think what would balance this a little bit, as I knew it had to be some kind of catch. So I decided to look at my armor, and I noticed that usually the lightning defense stat was the weakest, so I took a piece of paper and I ticked the correct column when a respective stat was the weakest, but I realized that wasn't very precise. So I thought to make a huge sum for each of the 4 defense statuses on Dark Souls 2. I had to research it, so I looked through the whole armor sets on Dark Souls wiki and added up all the stats in order to see the weakest point of the chosen undead. That's not really what happened, of course. That's what I have planned, but thank Christ that I'm lazy. So I search for a spreadsheet with armor stats so I can just use the sum function to get what I wanted. With this occasion I wanted to give a huge shout out to the person who made this spreadsheet and is my work, many thanks to the Reddit user Devo. So I used my hacksaw skills in Excel to get the results quicker, or more like open document hacksaw skills, said SASteve as a free software using fag that he is. Anyway, I'm kind of dragging this thing, so I'm going to give you the final scores on the screen. To score balances out, the spreadsheet had +5 and +10 items, so you might not get the exact same result as those if you're using a different spreadsheet. But what you will get is the fact that the lightning is the best buff because most of the armors are weak to it. I did the same thing with thrusting, slashing and striking stats. The top was as following: slash, thrust, strike. So a striking weapon is the best theoretically. It can't really be applied that well here, because there are different movesets and the probability to stunlock an enemy, as I'm doing with my Espada Opera. You can't really predict those things with just some numbers. And there wasn't really a very high difference between thrusting and striking, but the numbers show that striking is a little bit better. Now, the big question is whether the difference is significant or not. That's really hard to say. It's true that lightning does a little bit more damage, but it also depends on the builds of the players involved and all those things. Most of the time I did well with this build, I died because of my own mistakes, like attacking one too many times. So I was opened for just enough to take a backstep or a greatsword in the face. If we are talking about percentages, the average armor will reduce 19.2% of the lightning damage, 20.2% of the fire damage, 20.3% for the magic damage, and 20.9% for the dark damage. So there is a little difference that will probably balance out. You would probably think, if there is such an insignificant difference, why would you make a whole video around it? Do you have any idea how much time and experimentation went into this research? Way too much, if I knew the answer to my question from the start. So basically there is a balance by not being a fucking balance. Flame weapon 4 uses second best in the top and has no stat requirement, so it really is bullshit, even if the lightning weapon is with 1% better. I don't really think that that's really really that important. Well, it is nice to see that From Software learned so much from the last game where Pyromancy was unbalanced too, and too overkill. In that case, where is my power within? I want to one-shot people, god damn it! And yeah, what you just saw was Tyler Swift killing me. Guess who wrote a song about this one?
I'm so happy, oh happy-go-lucky me. I just go my way, living every day. I don't worry, worrying's got to bring things that bother